Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name is Denanu and I'm the man with black privilege. And with this video here, we're going to be talking about Disney's move to rehire James Gunn. And I don't know if this was just one person's, act that they did of letting him go, or if this was Disney as a whole, but somebody up in Disney was like, yo, look, this is causing us some bad press. We need to let this dude go. And honestly, I really didn't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, Disney probably knew of what happened with those bad tweets and everything before they hired him, because, it's Disney. Any mega corporation is going to do 50 billion background checks on somebody. They're going to know all the dirt that he has. They're like movie companies when you hire an actor. It's like, yo, look, we want Jean-Claude Van Damme and Robert Downey Jr. to be in, our biggest and latest movie. But look, they got a bit of a coke problem. So, we got to deal with that. They know these things, you know what I'm saying? Because it's their business. They wouldn't be mega corporations and movie companies if they didn't know these things. So, honestly, what I always thought went down, because to me, it wasn't that big of a deal. It's not like this has happened like last year when they supposedly let him go. This was something that happened years ago. Somebody else is bringing it back up into recent memory. And, I guess it sounds to me like somebody high up was like, yo, look, this guy's causing us some bad press. Let's just get him out of here. And now, I guess, now that a few months went by, people are like, oh, okay, well, what about Guardians 3, though? You got people wanting him back for that. You got Dave Bautista like, yo, look, I'm about to walk out of this franchise. So it's like, it's in Disney's best interest to be like, yo, look, even if you don't like the dude for what he did or whatever, at least keep him on until Guardians 3. Let him finish his little trilogy. Since they make billions of dollars, it's like, why not? It's like, it's really, what do they always say when it comes to media? Any news is good news, or no, how's it go? Any press is good press, or bad press is good press, something like that, right? But it gets people talking about your movie. Guardians, it's not like it's Ant-Man or it's Captain Marvel, where it's like subpar, bottom of the barrel type thing. Like, no, this is Guardians. It may not make that Avengers money, but you got people who only watch that. Hell, I think the movie by itself raised up the prices for cassette players in recent years. Like, people wanted to buy the same cassette player and headphones that he had in that movie. So you can do a lot of work with that, even if you put out, like, if Disney put out like a cassette player and called it like the Star-Lord edition or something like that, and you got a copy of the soundtrack with it, just something like, you don't fuck with the money train. So I think somebody higher up maybe realized that, and it looks like we're gonna have him back for Guardians 3. And honestly, I think that's nothing but a good thing, because you can't have somebody come in with Guardians 3 and let's say if they got, because I think they approached, what's the guy that did Thor Ragnarok, whatever his name was. They came to him and he said, no, I'm not doing it. Because it's like, how would you feel coming into somebody else's, coming into somebody else's house and you just putting your feet up on the coffee table? It's like, no, that don't work, And the actors wouldn't, they'd have probably did it because they're probably under contract. But it's one of those things where it's like, everybody's gonna feel wrong about that. The director for doing it, the actors who are in it, the audience watching the movie is gonna be like, man, this movie may be okay, but it don't have the same feel. Like, it would have been better if he did it. Everybody be talking shit about it. So why not just let him come back, do his movie, and then if you don't want to do future stuff with him, fine, cut him off at that point. But let him finish what he started. The Guardians movies, for lack of a better word, they are great. They are good movies. Whether you like them or not, they make millions of dollars. They're funny. A lot of people like the characters. Hell, even more so than the Avengers when it comes to a lot of that stuff. So it's only in Disney's best interest if they pursue Guardians 3 with James Gunn. And then if he want to go do Suicide Squad, hey, let him do that. It is what it is. But I'm glad to see that Disney isn't stuck in their ways of just being an asshole, because they could fall on that side of the spectrum too. And honestly, this is one of the good times where I'm like, you know what? They're not doing that. Granted, I mean, if you're going to do this now, the bad thing about this decision is, because I'm going to touch on a little bit about that too, is that the bad thing about the decision is now it makes Disney seem like they're wishy-washy. If they were going to rehire him, why fire him in the first place? You know, it's not a good look company-wise. It no pun intended, but you know, it shows that they're not sticking to their guns. And normally as a company, they don't like to do that. Like I said at the beginning, they like to, once they come out with that press release and once they come out with that statement, usually that's it. That's where they stand, for good or for bad. But now that they reneged on that, a lot of people, they may want this, but I'm pretty sure a lot of their investors are gonna, you know, or the board members, there's somebody in Disney that's high up that probably don't like that, because that can affect business, that can affect numbers, that can affect all of that. But maybe they looked at the fact that, yeah, our numbers may take a hit because we're reneging, but we're gonna make it back with Guardians. Maybe they, you know, maybe that's the reason why they did it. But I think it was dumb to fire him in the first place. I mean, because what it seems like to me, it seems like they put out a press release distancing themselves from James Gunn just until the controversy died back down, and now you're rehiring him once nobody's talking about it. That's what it seems like. And it could be one of those things where maybe that's what they did, but it's just like, why cut him off in the first place? It just doesn't seem right. I mean, hell, just to be like, look, we're not confirming anything, but we're holding, you know, or doing our own investigations. Even if you're not, just lie and say that you are, you know, and then just be like, okay, well, we concluded that whatever, it's not that big of a deal, and he's still doing Guardians 3. You know, I think that would have been a better way of handling it, rather than cutting him loose and then getting him back and then letting him do his movie. Because what if, like, you know, he was like, no, I'm not doing Guardians 3 no more because you cut me off. Now, granted, I mean, they'd still be okay as a company. Not making Guardians 3 right isn't gonna hurt Disney in any stretch of the word, but it's one of those things where it's like he could have been spiteful towards Disney for doing that, and then never did, you know, another movie with them. I mean, plenty of actors don't agree with their producers or directors and stuff like that, so I mean, it's not out of the ordinary or not out of the norm to not see that, you know. But anyways, I'm back that he's back, or I'm glad that he's back on board. Let me actually talk like I have some sense here. And because Guardians is one of those franchises where it's kind of like Christopher Nolan and like the Dark Knight trilogy. I'm not saying they're on the same caliber or anything. I think they are in different ways, but a lot of Guardians is the way it is because of James Gunn. James Gunn, how he wants the soundtracks, how he wants the movies to go. He puts a lot of himself in it, I'm assuming. And if you have somebody else try to do that, the movie is definitely gonna suffer for it. It's like Metal Gear Solid 5 when they came out with that with Konami. It's like they thought they could do Metal Gear without Kojima, and look how that shit turned out. You know, or the one after that, the one where it was like the other dimension one that came out like a year after the shitty one. But you know, it's like that. It's like when you have somebody and they have their baby, you don't go and mess with it. You don't try to, you know, to put your, you know, to put your feet up on somebody else's coffee table. You just don't do it, YouTube. It shows bad manners. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyways, fellas, my name is Denani, and I'm the man with black privilege, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.